Divine Connection Marketing is a 500 Fortune company that can always connect you to the right connection. Check them out.
Businesses all across the planet are looking to make connections with people. Well, guess what? Divine Connections magazine is helping businesses not only walk in their purpose and passion, but to get connected to their potential. That's right. You've got to connect to your potential, and you can make it happen now because it is time to know your worth. As you get connected to people all across the planet, Divine Connections magazine will make it happen. And get featured in the magazine today and get your copy now, because there's no other time than a divine time to get connected to Divine Connections magazine.
Well, great day, everyone. Welcome to Divine Connections Show. I am your host, Deloris Williams. We are so excited that you are here today. So let's get into it. Divine Connection is a faith-based and inspirational magazine that comes out quarterly in print as well as online. We connect with different businesses, entrepreneurs, gospel artists, praise dance moms, vendors, authors, anyone that's doing something great in the community. So if you are looking for an opportunity to share your business or your ministry, we would love for you to share it through the Divine Connections magazine. We have one more quarter for the year. So if you want to get in that quarter, make sure you text me at 336-338-8903 or email divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com. We also do events throughout the year, and we're having our next event coming up this Saturday. That is going to be our Bring It event, where we're going to have praise dance groups, mimes, vendors, over 30 vendors, and youth vendors. So come out and enjoy the ministries. It's only $5. It's going to be at the Mebane Arts Center in Mebane, North Carolina. So we look forward to seeing you there. If you're not able to be there and you want to send a donation, you can do that as well. So we are definitely excited about that. And then also in March is my anniversary, where we bring in choirs, praise dance, moms, vendors, and we network and worship together. In March, we celebrated our 12th magazine anniversary. And this coming up 2023 March, we're going to celebrate men at our Divine Connections anniversary. So I'm definitely excited about that. So definitely stay tuned. As you see, on Wednesdays, we do interviews on our podcast between the hours of 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., sharing with you who people are and what they do, and then information for you to connect with them as well. So we're grateful for that. And then one of our big opportunities now that has arrived is our app is up. So you can go to Divine Connections Magazine. So go to your Play Store and type in Divine Connections Magazine and download our app. And then you can create your own profile as well, and we can stay in communication that way as well. So I'm excited about what God is doing and the different avenues that we're using to reach the people and to connect. Okay, so definitely stay connected. All right, so we're gonna go to one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
To love is to protect. The ones you love, with whom you laugh every morning, who are there to listen to you and wipe your tears in the most difficult moments, are your companions forever. The reason to live harder every day. Have you thought about how to protect them and protect yourself when one is missing? We know the most important thing is your family's peace of mind, so you and your family can dedicate this time to honor and celebrate the life of your loved one. Over the last 70 years, we have been there. Our funeral assistance plans can protect up to 7 people, regardless of your relationship, in a safe and affordable way. Our services include funeral services in the coverage areas, transfer of the deceased to a local funeral home, cemetery, or crematorium within the United States, transfer of the deceased to the country of origin in the coverage area, airline ticket for the plan holder to attend the service of his or her loved one. Protecting your family with a beautiful gesture of love.
Awesome, awesome. Take that information into consideration. Be prepared for what life is going to bring. Okay. Awesome, awesome. And so, divine connections, how do you stay connected? You can subscribe to our email list. Go to our website at divineconnectionsmagazine.com and join our email list. You'll get updates and news about what's going on, events, and interviews, and so much more. We have our Facebook page at Divine Connections Marketing. We also have Instagram. Follow us there at Divine Connections. And then we have our YouTube channel at The Divine Connections. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification button so you'll know when we are on making it happen with Divine Connections. So if you would like to order, our quarterly magazine is here, you guys. So make sure you go order a copy of Divine Connections magazine. You can get the hard copy or you can get a digital copy. All right. It's up to you. The options are available for you. Just go to the website below, divineconnectionsmagazine.com/subscriptions. There are a lot of resources and connections on their events. And this is an event in November, which is called SIMP, which is the Christians in the Marketplace, and that is phenomenal. I go to that every year. That's in High Point, North Carolina, November the 19th, 18th, and 19th. So definitely check out different things that's going on and a lot of resources. Okay, and the website is below. If you would like to be a sponsor for the show, if you have a 30-second commercial and it's upon approval, we can add you to our podcast either before or after our events, and then it's 3 months in the 3-month agreement for $150. So we can have you on before or after our interviews, and we can share with individuals who you are, what you do, and connect and information so people can connect with you. All right, and that's just 3 months and for $150 to help get your name out there and your business. We also create 30-second and 60-second commercials for your business, your ministry, for your book, for your gospel group, or your event. So if you need a 30-second or a 60-second commercial done, let us know. I'm also grateful that our book is out. My second book is out. It's called The Key Connector, How to Build an Empire Helping People. And I do that with the help of the Lord and having faith in myself and the God in me. Okay, so a lot of accomplishments I cannot do them without the help of the Lord. So my strategies of how I've built my business and my accomplishments are in here. So go check it out. It is on Amazon, or you can go to the link below, or I will be at my event Saturday. I will have them there as well. And we also have a journal called Make It Happen and Handle Your Business, because that is what we can do. Write the vision and make it plain, and then go back and execute and then celebrate, so we can have all our memories and our thoughts right here in our journal. Make it happen. You are a divine connection. We also have our store available now, which is bit.ly/divine connection store. We have shirts and hoodies and jackets and socks and pillows and best that ever apparel as well. So go check out the store, click on the link, click on shop all, so you can see all of the products that's available to you. And it's getting cold, so y'all go check out the jackets. The jackets are hot. Okay, definitely want you to see that. Also, this is again the link for the event, bit.ly/Deloris, October 15th. That is for the event that's coming up this Saturday. It's only $5, or you can just pay at the door at the Mebane Art Center at 11:30. Hope to see you there. And last but not least, God has been good. I have also been nominated for the Media Publication of the Year with the Dunamis Gospel Awards. All right, so go to the website, dunamisgospelawards.org, go to the category of Media Publication of the Year, click on Divine Connections, submit, and you can do it all over again, all the way up until October 27th. It's unlimited voting, and so I will greatly appreciate your vote. All right, doing great things in the community, and so this is sometimes how organizations share that as well. All right, so my guest has arrived, you guys. I have the one and only Mr. Gregory Johnson. So let's see what he is doing out in the community. Hold tight. Great day, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Well, welcome, sir.
It's a pleasure to join you. And whenever we have an opportunity to do business with our fellow Christians, our
Mhm.
sisters and brothers of faith, it's an exciting opportunity. Look forward to that. And I bring you some cold breeze from the state of New Jersey today.
Awesome. New Jersey's in the house. Awesome,
And that's
awesome, awesome. Love that. Love that. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, sure. I'm an attorney in the state of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and I've been practicing over 30 years. I am a graduate of Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida, the Sunshine State. Graduated from Rutgers Law School in Camden, and I've been practicing for over 30 years, representing corporations, small businesses, individuals. And what I specialize in today is real estate. I represent investors. I represent men and women who are buying their first home, young people. I represent what I call flippers who buy houses for investment purposes, either sell them or rent them out. And in addition to that, I represent developers. And as a result of the pandemic, our business has grown, and we now do wills, trusts, and estates, which is an area that has gotten increased focus because a lot of our parents and seniors are passing away, leaving us a lot of property. So I've been very helpful to our clients with respect to that.
Awesome, awesome. I love that. And knowing that information is awesome. So I know at the age of 27, I got my first house built from ground up.
Mhm.
And I was excited about the process. I stayed with my cousin for 3 years and I was cool with that. And then somebody's like, well, why don't you buy a house? And I'm like, I don't know nothing about it, you know. So I took a first time home buyers class and I took
Mhm.
that twice so I could understand the people that you need, what you need to look
Mhm.
for. And of course, attorney was one of them.
Yes.
Um, that was one, you know, it's I can't remember how many people you need, but I remember attorney was one of them because you got to have all that document signed and looked at and everything flowing. So I was excited. I watched my house get built and I'm still here 15 years later. So my next goal is to pay it off for sure that. And so I'm excited because you know a lot of young people they're you know in and out, and I'm more stable, thank God.
Mhm.
Um, you know, because if you're gonna stay in the same location, having a house is wonderful. I call it my peace haven because when
Yes.
everything else is finished and everything else is done, I can go home, ain't got to bother with nobody, and have my peace.
Sure.
So I
Sure.
am grateful to have learned the process of the first time home buyers.
Mhm.
Um, I was able to learn that information. That was great information as well. And then just the process of you know the responsibility you have to do before that time, taking care of bills, pay bills on time. You know, have 2 years.
Yes.
You
Mhm.
have to do that, and so I'm grateful that
Mhm.
I had the wisdom to do that
Sure.
and parents and skills to you know have that in play even if I didn't know anything about a house, so I was already working those things. So young people get some stability. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, you have a great story. What I try to explain to my clients, especially those who are fresh out of college and have worked and have established good credit, so forth, that owning a house is a way of building wealth. The statistics tell us that nearly 80% of white families own their own home. Well, that number is greatly reduced when it comes to African American families. They are hovering around 42%. And a home appreciates in value over time. So it's like investing in an asset that's going to grow. So for families that are blessed to own a house, you have something to invest in, and it pays dividends because you get a tax write-off every year in terms of deductions of your interest and your property taxes. And over time, you will own the house outright if you continue to make payments. So it's a excellent way of building wealth. And in comparison, when you are a renter, you get no value in the property that you are renting. So I encourage our young people to seriously think about buying a house as soon as they're able to.
Absolutely. Total in agreement with that, because I know people that rent houses, and it is a lot of money to rent houses. And then once you finish staying
Yes.
there, your money's gone.
That is absolutely correct. The market today, I'm not sure what the market is for North Carolina, but in New Jersey, home prices have skyrocketed. And in addition to that, rental prices are outrageous now. In the past, you could rent a house for $1,200, $1,500 a month in the city of Trenton. And that's gone up to about $2,000, $2,200. And in the suburbs, it's about nearly $3,000 a month to rent a house. So it pays to invest and be credit worthy in order to get a loan or a mortgage to buy your own house.
Awesome. So let's talk about what you do, what you focus on. And you said real estate.
Yes. Yes.
So let's talk more about that.
Okay. So typically what happens is in this hot real estate market, some people have said that it is cooling off. I don't see that. I get clients calling me every day. They want to buy homes, and winter is setting in, or we're approaching winter. So they want to be settled. They want their kids to be settled in the school system. So it's a excellent opportunity to go out and look for houses. Now it is competitive, and it is what we call a seller's market, because over time the supply of homes has declined. Builders are not building as many new homes as they have in the past. So you really have a situation where you have a small housing stock, available houses, and you have a number of people who are competing for a house. So many times a buyer is encouraged to get pre-qualified with a mortgage company. And if they can do that, they're sort of one step ahead, because once they do see a house on the market that they really like, they can say to a potential, to the seller, that I'm credit worthy, I'm able to buy this house. So if you sign a contract with me, you will be guaranteed to go to closing. So in addition to helping buyers buy houses at closing, I also represent investors. Believe it or not, the majority of my clients are women over 50. They are very successful. They've gone to college, they've gotten their degrees, and they have stable employment records. They are in a position where they not only own their home, but they're looking at potential investments. The stock market really is not as reliable as it has been in the past. So many of my women entrepreneurs are looking at buying houses in order to rent, which I think is a very sound business venture nowadays. Because let's just face it, with the housing demand, housing is going to be in demand for a number of years because there's just not enough housing stock in the market. So I really enjoy developing a business relationship with women because, number one, they're dedicated, they're serious. You got to be on their game. They will do research on me. They'll go on my website and they'll ask around for recommendation. So I'm flattered sometimes when they call me because they said so and so referred me to you. She bought a house with you and you took care of her. So I'm really excited about opportunities to represent more and more women of color.
Awesome. Now, do you just work in New York with the houses or anywhere?
Oh, I can help home buyers anywhere. But here's where I think I've been able to develop my practice into a global practice. When someone passes away and we're dealing with inheritance, right? Many times what will happen is someone will die without a will. And in order to identify assets, garner assets, and get someone appointed as the representative of an estate, you need to have an attorney because it is a full-blown legal process. So I get quite a few calls every year from family members who have said, you know, my aunt just passed away. She didn't have any children. I am the next of kin. Can you help me be appointed as the estate representative, either in New Jersey, Pennsylvania? I'm also licensed to practice, excuse me, in New York as well. But I can assist any family throughout the continental U.S. with estate matters. I'll give you one example. This is a situation involving a family member that called me who resided in New Jersey before and their aunt moved to Washington State. She lived in North Carolina. And that was where the family was from that migrated to New Jersey. So what happened is her aunt and her uncle, her aunt and the aunt's husband, one of them was in the military and was transferred to Washington State. They lived there for 50, 60 years and both passed away, leaving an estate in Washington State. And they called me. They said, Mr. Johnson, we need your help. You know, my aunt just passed away. We're flying out there. When we get out there, we need to get control of the assets. And they called me. We looked into the situation. I was able to assist them. Unfortunately, the aunt did not have a will, which meant that a case had to be brought in the surrogate's office in the county in which she passed away. I encourage our families to get a will. Anyone over 40 or 50 years old should have a will, power of attorney, and a trust if they have significant assets. And here's why. When they pass away, that will determines who gets the property. So in many instances, the passing of someone leaves an inheritance so that either a car or a house or something will pass to the next generation. So I've increased my competence in the area of wills, trusts, and estates, because let's face it, we're not going to be here all the time. And when something happens, we could leave the next generation a leg up. And the data says that the majority of the wealth in the U.S. is passed through inheritance. Is not through someone getting a job and working. So I hate to break the news to you. You may work hard and you may work for 50, 60 years, but your aunt or uncle can leave you hundreds of thousands of dollars in their will. So, develop a good relationship with your relatives. That's the key here. Oh yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So you know a little bit about trust.
Yes.
Can you share
Yes.
some insight on about that?
Oh yes. Trust is an area that we as African Americans really haven't developed, let's say, a good knowledge of. Let's just take one at a time. Let's look at a will. The population data indicates that about 50% of the American population has a will, and that number is pretty low. If you look at looking at the data as to African Americans and Hispanics, less than 80% of Hispanics and Blacks have a will, which means that in many instances, 20 or 30% of the time, there's uncertainty as to who gets what when a adult passes away. And that's not a good situation. Because if your family is like my family, you can have family disputes, and next thing you know, you have one side saying this, the other side saying that. So a will helps us bring about certainty as to who's going to get the property of the loved one. The next thing is a trust. The great thing about a trust is you could leave property in the trust that is outside of probate. That means that I can set up a trust right now for my two children and my wife, that whether I'm alive or not, they will get whatever assets that are in the trust. That is a significant advantage, because if we look at the typical estate where someone has to go to court to get the will probated, sometimes it could take time. I assisted a family who handled the estate of a loved one who lived in Florida. Well, once the father passed away, it took about 8 months for someone to be appointed as the administrator or executor of the state, of their estate. And that's a very long time, quite frankly. In New Jersey, if there is a will, that will, if it's properly executed, can be probated within an hour, which is a tremendous advantage that we have in New Jersey. There's a good presumption that if you have something in writing, that it can be probated. However, if someone has a trust, all a trust is a written instrument that is approved by an attorney, prepared by an attorney, properly executed. That trust agreement can be 2 or 3 pages that basically says, I appoint so-and-so to be my trustee, and here are the duties of the trustee. The good thing about a trust is the kind that is, in this particular instance, what we call a inter vivos trust, or it's a Latin term for while I am living. The law does go back many, many years, and before we were a country, a lot of our laws came from Europe, and they used the Latin language. That's why we say inter vivos trust, which basically means I'm setting up this trust while I am living. So whether I live for 100 years or 50 years, that trust is still established, and all the assets in the trust, it could be my house, it could be my car, it could be any number of stocks and bonds. Those documents, those instruments, those assets are governed by the trust. So a trustee doesn't have to go to the court to get a probate for the trust. The trust stands by itself and is outside of the purview of the government. That's a beautiful thing, right? So you have other trusts that are out there that people sometimes establish. One is a charitable trust. If you're like me, you watch PBS a lot, and at the end of the program, they'll say, this program is funded or sponsored by the Charitable Trust of XYZ. Yes, people do set up charitable trusts that exist and function even after they have passed. People who have wealth can do a lot of good things. So in this particular case, when we set up a trust for our clients, it's to protect their assets, and it's also to ensure that it's properly transferred without them, even if they're here or not. And I don't want to be too technical, but we do set up, the majority of our trusts we set up are what we call irrevocable trusts. That means once the money goes in, the grantor can't take it out. And that's a requirement of the IRS. And I love to talk about this subject even further. If any of our listeners or viewers have questions, they can reach me on my 1-800 number, 1-800-930-9778, or my email address, gregoryjohnson282@gmail.com.
Awesome. Look, I was taking notes. I feel like I was in class. So I could understand all the trust things. So if a person has a will and a trust, they can have both, or what do you prefer?
Absolutely. I for people who have wealth, I recommend both. A basic will can be done for as little as $250, $300, right? And that's a basic form of protection. But a trust, a properly prepared and established trust, can last for generations of time. I can tell you a story about one of my cousins who grandmother left the family 100 acres of land outside of Savannah, Georgia. And the family has to decide what they're going to do with that land. That's a really large chunk of land. Well, right now, my cousin owns it, and he's an engineer by trade, and he's planning on developing it. But I would recommend to him that he create a family trust where that land would be in the trust for generations to come. Imagine, the family continued to keep their ancestral land, and I might add, this is land that they were given right after slavery ended. So they're quite blessed right now to have that large number of land. Imagine over 70 acres of land. That's a huge amount of land, right? Oh yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. Yeah, I'm sure more people, including myself, would like to learn more. So, do you give sessions out, workshops?
Yes, we from time to time we do workshops at local churches here in Trenton. We do it via Zoom, so we could broadcast it, have it available to viewers even in North Carolina. We will be doing a workshop on trust because it's an area that we should know more about. It's a huge advantage. Let me give your viewers one more example. Um, what a trust allows the grantor to do is set it up and to establish payouts. Let's just suppose that I pass away and I leave $1 million of insurance proceeds to my wife and my kids. Now, if they get a check for $1 million, they have to decide what they're going to do with it, right? And if that's the case, can you imagine my adult kids going to the car dealership the next day saying, I'm going to buy a BMW, I'm going to buy an Audi, I'm going to buy a house for myself, so forth. And sometimes large sums of money drives us crazy, right? Because we make decisions that we wouldn't ordinarily make. And so there's no controls if we leave a large sum of money to a young person, right? There are no controls because they get the check, they can do whatever they want. But if the money is a part of a trust where a trustee says, I'm only going to give quarterly payments to your young children when they attend college, cover their college expenses, to pay for their housing, and then from time to time to give them an allowance. Imagine that type of management of money and controls that are there when there's large sums of money involved. And believe me when I tell you this, we have a number of our seniors who have substantial amounts of money in the bank. They've saved, they come from the generation of savers, right? And that money is in the bank. And once they pass away, whoever is the beneficiary, they'll grab that money, get that money, and who knows what's going to happen after that. So having a trust is a way of preserving a substantial amount of money for the long term. I've heard horror stories about, loved ones passing away, leaving a large sum of money, and then 6 months later, the money is gone, right? So a trust agreement is a way of setting up controls so that the money can be dispersed and handed out over a long period of time. And a trustee is there as a fiduciary. Once you set up a trust, you name a trustee who you trust, who will say to your son, your daughter, or any other loved one, listen, we have a large sum of money. Your mother, your father wanted you to have this money for a while. I know there's temptations in going out and buying the latest styles, the best looking car, or the fanciest house. Those are things that you can get over time. But right now, let's preserve as much of this money as possible, because your mother and father didn't get it by just someone giving it to them over time. They worked for it and they built it up and so forth.
I love that. That is wisdom.
Yes.
That
And,
is wisdom.
and
I
what does
love it.
Stan Matthews say about wisdom? That we gain knowledge by going to school, but wisdom is lived.
Mhm. Yes,
Amen.
for sure. Oh, this has been awesome. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for that information. So let us know when your workshops are, so
Yeah,
I can share that out with the audience as well. I look forward to staying
absolutely.
connected with you. That's good information.
Absolutely. And my nickname is the professor. That's why I'm wearing the bow tie here. I tell people I'm the professor, and I try to do everything I can to give knowledge to our people. Because remember how it was during slavery days. We were
Mhm.
not allowed to go to educational institutions to learn. In fact, we were told you better not read anything. Right. So we're now at the age where the more we learn, the more we can help each other. And that's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm grateful for the time you have shared with us today and being connected with Divine Connections and
Yes.
sharing that insight and that knowledge. Because I always pray, Lord, give me wisdom.
Yes.
Then you want to take that wisdom and use that knowledge as well and apply it. So,
Absolutely.
so thank you for sharing that information. I'm going to put his contact information again on the screen. So if you guys want to contact him, please do so. His email and number is on there. And
Mhm.
leave us with a word of encouragement.
Yes. Well, we all know that in this difficult economic time, that our Black families have struggled. Um, as a matter of fact, if you look at the data, we lead negative indicators. But there's the hope of tomorrow that if we can stay connected and work with each other, we can get beyond this pandemic and to a new height of prosperity where we all can succeed. So I believe in the term team. Together, everyone achieves more. So great to see you here tonight.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on. This is Mr. Gregory Johnson, you guys. It has been a pleasure sharing the stage with you and sharing with our audience just some vital information. While you have the time, slow down and take the time and handle your business and take responsibility so people can live life better and happier. All right. So thank you again, Mr. Gregory. I greatly appreciate you for
You're
coming on.
welcome.
Thank you. Hold tight, and we're going to come back. But I am Deloris Williams with Divine Connections. Make sure you all stay connected to the number one divine connector, which is Jesus Christ. We're going to turn it over to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Thank you again, Mr. Gregory. Hold tight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, we've got exciting news from Divine Connections Marketing Services. Now you can create your own custom video commercial for your business or organization. It's time for you to win. Your product or service is someone's solution, so get the attention of your potential customers now. Choose from a 30 or 60-second commercial today. Just email us at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com and we can get started. Connect today and let's get started making your custom video commercial now.
Divine Connections Magazine. Get major exposure for your business. Is someone looking for your service? Do you need networking? Are you a gospel artist or a ministry? Do you have a major event that you want to promote? Divine Connections Magazine has the solution for you. We can distribute to residents, businesses, churches, and online. Don't miss this opportunity to expand your marketing locally and around the world. Find out more about us at divineconnectionsmagazine.com. Get your spot in the next issue of Divine Connections Magazine by emailing us for details at divineconnectionsmagazine@gmail.com.
Make sure to like us on Facebook at Divine Connections Marketing. Follow us on Instagram at Divine Connections.
Let's get it started now.